are now just over a month away from the release of Planet Coaster 2, and as they've done over the past few months, they have taken us through another deep dive on the game. And this deep dive is the deepest divest yet, because they cover so many different management tools, new UIs which look slightly odd in places, but we'll move on to that later, and even a look at the brand new rides in the base game, deluxe editions and vintage DLC. I do find it quite hilarious how there's already a DLC involved when the game's not even out yet, but I guess that's how games work nowadays. Either way, I'm going to talk through all of this deep dive, including those new rides that were showcased, and yeah, we're going to analyse and deep dive into the deep dive. So if you do go on to enjoy this video and you want to see more Planet Coaster 2 content in the future, then if you aren't already, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 90,000 subscribers now, so if you want to help towards that goal, it'd be greatly appreciated. So then, the Planet Coaster 2 deep dive number 3. We've had number 1, which was just sort of showcasing the water park stuff and a little bit of everything except the coaster builder. They made that very obvious. Number 2 basically had everything else, including the coaster builder this time, and the confirmation of drop tracks and switch tracks, which I actually have built in the game already because I played it a few weeks ago, so check that out once this video's done. But the third deep dive, what would it be about? It was going to be about the management tools within the game. So that includes all of the staff things where you sort of got to make places where they can rest, or places where they can, I don't know, sit on the floor and die, and all of your ride management, guest management, everything like that they talk about in this deep dive, and it's quite a long one, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing, because if I sat here and lectured you through everything they said and did, I'd be here for over half an hour, and you don't want to see my face for more than that long and hear my voice, considering I'm ill right now. But what we shall do is we shall load up into the deep dive and check out what they have to talk about. So as you can see here, they started the stream by talking in their classic Frontier, I don't even like setup. Oh, it's quite a nice rug on the floor, actually. But they talk about a few things. Again, that's not a game that I've played. Oh! Here we are. We are with Xander Payne and Robert James, a UI designer and a senior designer of Planet Coaster 2. Let's get into this deep dive. You're here with me too. And there we go then. They have loaded up into a scenario of the park. And as you can see, it's very high off the ground. There's a monorail running in between the two areas, and yeah, it's like Alton Towers, but about 700 foot bigger. And you can actually see you can buy different areas of a park. You can see you own Peak 2, but you don't own Peak 1. And also I like how the middle bit is called Don't Look Down. I don't know if that's a reference to Oblivion or not, but I think that's quite cool. Don't look down. And in that area you can't place any pools or any coasters, rides, terrain, manufacturing, benches, bins. So they've definitely gone a long way with the different scenarios. And here we go then. This is when it gets a little bit complicated. They go into the park management section, and as you can see, there is so much stuff here. A lot more than there was before. You've got park options here where you can make adult tickets, child tickets, pool passes, priority passes. On the right, you can see how many tickets you've sold in total. You can see a breakdown of the park rating and how well your park is actually doing. They don't have many unique attractions. Get better at the game. You've also got guest thoughts here. You can summarize them and see what they're thinking. So for some reason on their scenario, 99% of people are nauseous. As you do. You can go into the attractions and shops manager where you can see all of your different rides that are in the park, and then at the top there's a tab to select pools, shops, facilities, utilities, and skipping past the staff tab you can actually see you can now research different coasters and rides. I think there's an issue with the right hand side considering every single coaster is just an Intamin mega coaster, but I'm sure that'll get fixed eventually. You can now heat map with guest tolerance and other stuff that they may be feeling. I don't know whether it's panic or they're scared of heights and all that kind of stuff. You can do the same for staff. You can find out if they need a break or not, or how much they're getting paid. He definitely needs a pay rise. And then if you watched my video where I did actually go into the game and build some stuff, then you may actually remember the power and sort of, I don't know, electricity, heat maps and sort of cables under the ground where you have to link them up to distributors and stuff like that. At first it took me a very long time to actually understand because my brain just doesn't work, but the way they explain it in this deep dive and the fact that distributors just distribute the electricity everywhere, it's so easy. They also show that you can see the water cleanliness. You can now check the condition of your ride, so obviously the op panel is lit up blue. That means I think that it's fine. If it's red, then I assume it's about to blow up. And you can now see when you'll have to fix that, which we never really had in the game, so fair play. You can check pool safety as well, but what I really wanted to talk about for a little bit of this video is the weather mechanics. Now, we actually have a weather forecast in the bottom right, and it says today it's going to be winter sunny, and as you can see, it starts off sunny, gets a bit cloudy, and then will start raining. So in a bit, we'll actually see rain in Planet Coaster 2. Back when I used to play Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, there was rain. And then for some reason it disappeared in Planet Coaster. Weather does not exist in this world, but I'm just very glad that we have that weather back, and I really hope that the snow and the sort of heavy rain stops the rides from running, because I think that'd be very realistic. But there you go, there's the rain in action, and it does look very realistic. Obviously, you can see umbrellas being purchased as well. That's a very cool feature. And you can actually see, if you are very observant in the background, that some of the pathways do already have puddles forming on them, and they look so real. We've been waiting for this for ages, and they've done it so right. I'm so glad. Thank you, Frontier. They then go through and discuss the different staff that are new, and also the sort of staff zones you can make, and the staff schedule. This thing looks so confusing. And as much as I really do appreciate all of these different options, for a sandbox builder like myself, I probably won't keep these on. I'll probably turn a lot of them off in settings, but that is in no disrespect to what they've done, because they have done a mad job with this. And that is that part of the deep dive, although that was the deep dive. It's sort of like done in two parts, because one part was just the live show. Let's go into that, because it does say coming 6th of November, and then it says about pre-ordering with these brand new rides, and we're actually going to take a look for the first time at all of these rides. So this then takes us over to a blank plot of land, and they actually go into the coasters tab and go to make a new one. And as you can see, first of all, we need to talk about that. If you remember from my previous video where I showed the Intamin accelerator coaster, that photo is a lot different. So they're definitely making changes already, and the game's not even out yet, fair play. But there's nothing new on the side there until we go to the water section, which first of all, the Intamin water coaster that's in the deluxe pre-order edition, that is right on our screens right there, and that does look really nice. I do like that sort of thing. And as you can see, a water coaster using a unique double lift elevator with fast speeds and splashdowns. So that lift that we saw on the log flume, where it's just a single one that goes up, and then when the log goes off it, that goes back down and picks the next one up. This one will have two separate tracks, one at the top, one at the bottom, and it will go like this. Swap. Technology is so advanced. What I want to ask as well is your guys' opinion on why there is a B&M splashdown water coaster. What is that? I genuinely can't think of a water coaster-esque ride that would have that name, so leave your thoughts in the comments, because yeah, I got no clue. They then take a look at the brand new dark ride. They scroll down or scroll along to powered, go on to the FD Vision, and as you can see, it's like the Omnimover style ride where they're going to be in a massive line and sort of have loads of different cars, a lot like the taxi ride at Madame Tussauds or Phantom Manor at Disneyland Paris, if you want a better comparison. But what intrigues me the most about this ride is the fact that it says on the overview, a chain of cars which travel continuously at a steady speed with guests boarding via a conveyor belt. Now, we have never seen a moving station in Planet Coaster at all, but now it appears we're going to get that, and I really hope that this is a sort of indication that we're going to get different stations, and they just haven't showed us yet, because my god, the stations right now are way too big, please. Either way, when you pre-order, you also get a custom flat ride, and as you can see, it is called the Cube, and we had this in Planet Coaster 1, and it sort of just, you know, rotates really weirdly, and it looks a bit like this, you know, yeah. This is old news. Let's look at something new. All of the different rides that are coming in the Vintage Fair Rides pack, but they actually take us through all the individual rides here. So as you can see right down there, we've got the wooden wild mouse, and most of these were in Planet Coaster 1, so this is nothing new, not until we get to the flat rides anyway. That wooden wild mouse, as you can see going up the lift hill, we don't see too much of that, but the layout looks pretty decent. The ending looks like it might kill you. We also see the side friction wheeled wooden coaster as well, and the final coaster out of the three over on this island is the City Peninsula wooden coaster. Not too sure on the make of that, and also not too sure why the lift hill is so steep. I'm a big fan of having all these rides back in the game. They then proceed to show us the new flat rides, and as you can see, this is the Monty Leon right here. It's the sort of one that just goes round in a massive circle. Loads. The Grand Carousel right in front of us there, that looks really nice. Loving the colours and the lights on that. You just got to give it to whoever landed their plane on that carousel. The Chair-a-Plane right here, or the Chair Swing ride, that looks amazing as well. I'm surprised that's part of a DLC and not actually in the base game. But there we go. You've got the classic Helter Skelter right there as well. Very similar colour scheme again. I think they're definitely going for the blue and white and yellow vibe. And then whatever the hell this is, Hyperspin. I think it's just a classic waltzers, really. Looks fun. And they left this one till last because I know them themselves probably think, I've never seen one of these in my life. But Planet Coaster love to add a one-of-a-kind flat ride or coaster that nowhere has other than one place. And they've done it again with this. Buoyancy. We saw it in the sort of trailer, but had no idea what it was. And looking at it in the flesh, I still don't know what it is. But they actually test the ride, and it seems like people are sat in the middle of that little container, and they actually submerge under water. And once it comes out of that water, it should ping up, hopefully. Does it ping up? Here we go. It's just underwater. It's like an aquarium viewing experience. I think it's supposed to come up. Does it? Is it like a reverse drop tower? No? What is the point? What an incredible ride that was. But in all honesty, just look at some of the design features on that. The stairs up to the ride platform, some of the like windows at the bottom as well, that massive structure going over the top with the sort of cables running down. It does look really cool, despite the fact I don't really know what it is. And I am very excited to give all of these new rides a go. And there's actually another one, the 4th deep dive, and I think the final one, on the 30th of October, diving into the multiplayer aspects, workshop, and more. So that'll be very interesting to see. There'll definitely be more Planet Coaster 2 videos before that, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss them when they release. And if you do want to see the drop tracks in action and a few other things such as a tilt track coaster and loads of other stuff, then click here on screen now for this video. I got to play Planet Coaster 2 for the first time and it was amazing. Despite the fact I tried to do the scenario mode and I did the scenario completely wrong at first, but we don't talk about that.